Alrighty. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love our time together. I love being able to keep these interactive. So, like I said, I will have chat open. If you've got questions as we're going along, I'd love to be able to answer them for you in real time. Today, the topic is creating a month of content for your marketing in a day, basically batching your content effort. So when I say content batching, that's what I'm talking about, is streamlining your process so that you can do multiple posts and create multiple ideas in allotted time. And I will show you an example how you can do it all in one day for your whole month. I do see a hand raise. If you can post your questions in chat, that would be great because I will be looking over at chat throughout the presentation. All right, so as I said, content batching, creating your content in chunks so that you don't have to every day be staring at that blank piece of paper going, what am I going to create today? So in this day of AI, this is really me here with you today. So as I said, I will keep chat open. I'll be looking for your questions. I do want to make this like a conversation, as interactive with you. This is my time with you today, and I hope that you will feel that way and post your questions so that we can keep this. If you've got a question, there's a chance that other people in the webinar have that same question. These days, I'm what's called a digital creator, and that means anything visual online, that's what we do. Photography, video, AI. I love all these new tools. I get excited about them, and those are the things that I want to share with you. And I want to share with you my workflow and how I create content, like I said, for myself and for my clients. And I try to make it fun. I try to make it accessible. And I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, I'm Ronnie Ramos. On most other social, I'm under my business name, which is Harmony 3 Productions. So I'm putting in here on this slide, and you will get a copy of the slides and a copy of the recording. So as I said, on LinkedIn, Ronnie Ramos, Instagram, Facebook, Harmony 3 Productions, and you can scan the QR code and sign up for my newsletter, which I'm always sharing tips that, I'm not quite finished figuring out yet, but it's a way, to connect and let you see what I'm working on, which you kind of get a sneak peek of what might be coming up in future webinars. Before we jump in real quick, I just want to say thank you to SCORE. SCORE is such an amazing resource for all of us as business owners. I had a SCORE mentor when I started my business. It was literally a game changer. And that might sound like you hear that about so many things, but for me, it was because I came from a creative background. Commercial photography was what I studied in school, and we never heard about running it as a business. It was craft and design, and a business was foreign to me, but it is a business, and I am forever grateful to SCORE for having a free mentor that not just answered my questions, because there were questions I didn't even know to ask. So if you are new to business, they've got a mentor for you. If you're established in your business, they have a mentor for you. If you're thinking about selling your business, they have mentors for you. Whatever stage you are in your business, I cannot recommend them highly enough. Get a free SCORE mentor. All right. Let's see what happened there. Sometimes we get a little bit of a little technical. So I'm going to try this one more time. If it doesn't work, I have an option. Nope. Okay. We will go back here, and I made this presentation in Canva. I was presenting in Canva, and then obviously it had a glitch, but I can still show it to you in Canva itself. So I'm just gonna make that as big as I can for you, and here we go. All right, so why does content batching matter? Well, it reduces that design fatigue, which is if you're posting on a daily basis and you're starting from scratch every day, that's like, what should I post today? That's a lot of thinking every day, right? And it kind of takes that, what am I going to post today, into just one day of you creating your posts, brainstorming ideas and get it ready for your whole month. It saves hours of time every week. Transform that really scattered daily posting into a streamlined process. And for me, absolutely reclaim very valuable time by doing it like this. And it keeps your brand consistent. And I mean that because everywhere I see anything that you post, I want to look like you. It's important that you have brand consistency. So your website, your emails, your social media, every time somebody sees anything that you do to promote your business, it should look like your business. And when you think about what you're posting for the month, it kind of helps you stay on track, both the type of content you're speaking about and how it looks visually. All right. So I had a couple questions before we even dove in on what is content batching. So to me, it's a productivity strategy. So creating multiple posts in one focused session instead of that daily scramble, and organizing that content by themes or campaigns so that you're very cohesive in what you are saying with your messaging, and allows you to schedule everything in advance so that you can create not just the visual consistency, but the scheduling consistency, because algorithms, they love consistency. And it does leverage, I'm sure you've heard the term, your creative flow state. And you might think, oh, what does that mean? But it is a thing that you get into that state where you are being creative. It's hard to jump in and out of that state, even for someone like me that does it every day. You get in that state and it goes smoother. So if you can allot a certain amount of time or hours or one day to be in that state and create your stuff for that whole month, it really will go much, much smoother. All right. Let's see. I see a question here. I'm confused about the difference between brand, company, or domain name and logo. So your brand, I think, encompasses everything that you as your business is. Your logo should reflect that brand. Your domain is where your website is. Your website is the hub of your online business. But what I'm talking about brand consistency is, so you've got your website, you've got your social media, your newsletters. Everything should look like your brand. You typically will have brand colors, brand style of images, fonts. All of that should be consistent across whatever you are creating that represents your brand. So that goes the tone of voice, the colors you use, the fonts you use, everything. When somebody sees what you are producing content-wise, that they know it's you, whether they see it on TikTok or on LinkedIn or on your website, they should recognize it as you. Okay. Now, the tools that we're going to use today are the tools that I use for my business and for my clients. So it's ChatGPT. That's what I use as my little sidekick, my writing assistant. Really helps me generate ideas, right? Absolutely, I use it to create the captions for my social media and to develop scripts for either short form video or long form video. Works so well. Canva. Oh, if you are not a graphic designer, Canva makes you look like one. Very, very user-friendly design platform for creating those visuals that are going to go with the AI text and scripts and content that we're using ChatGPT for. So even if you have zero design experience, you can look really put together and match your brand. Now, there's also scheduling tools that you can use to, once you've created your month of content, you can schedule it out in advance. Even Canva has a scheduler built in, but there's also third-party apps like Later or Hootsuite that you can use to schedule, or you can post them as you like individually. I did mention before, I am showing my examples in the paid version of Canva and paid ChatGPT. They both have free versions or lower fee versions. I use the paid professional versions because I think I get a better response. But if you are new to it, try the free versions. See if it's working for you. Because the best practices that I'm talking about today work no matter what version you're using. On Canva, they're just maybe individual pieces that you're paying for as opposed to a yearly subscription. Okay, now, first you got to start with a strategy. So before you dive into all this content creation, you got to establish that really clear foundation. Know your audience. That is the first thing. All of us have a different audience than each other. My audience is different than yours. It is so important that you have a really deep understanding of your audience. I want you to understand their struggles. What are their pain points? What are their pain points that you have a solution for? What are their aspirations? What type of content resonates with them? And you can really create that detailed audience persona in your mind to help you guide what you're creating as content. I see a post, Canva has a discounted or free version for nonprofits. They absolutely do. You need to apply for that, but if you meet their criteria for a nonprofit, you apply for that, and then yes, it's the full paid version, free for a nonprofit. So that's great. Thank you for reminding me that. So with that strategy, I'm going to suggest we pick 3 to 5 what we call content pillars. That's core themes, right, that align with your experience, what you're good at, and your audience interests. What do they need help with? What are they interested in? And what are you good at? So 3 to 5 things that you can fit into. That's going to serve as your foundation. That's you adding value. And then you're going to set weekly themes. So you've got your core pillars, but your weekly themes will change. You can organize your month around specific topics or campaign ideas to create a really cohesive narrative that builds over time. So these themes center around your your core pillars. So your core pillars aren't changing, but how you're working with them in those themes can definitely change. So how do you define what your core pillars are? I see a question here. Do content pillars change depending on the social media platform? No. Your content pillars, again, when I say no so convincingly, this is my opinion. And of course, if it's not working for you, that's the beauty of social media. You can change all the time. But for me, my core pillars, the core things that I am good at and I'm good at sharing and giving value of, don't change. So I would think that your core pillars are really what your business, your brand is about, what you're good at, what you share, what you can give people a value, and then have them realize, if I'm getting this stuff for free, they're sharing such great information for free, how much greater would it be if I started working with them? So I'm big on give things of value, but you're not giving away everything because you're in business to sell your product or sell your service. But you can still be a value giver and be seen as an expert in your industry. And then when people need your product or service, of course, my goal would be then they call you. So let's talk about defining your content pillars. So those would be tips, helpful tips or educational nuggets, valuable insights. Maybe it's how-tos and actionable advice, and that positions you as an expert in your field. People also love behind the scenes. They like it, lets you build those authentic connections by kind of showing your process. Maybe you show your workspace or your day-to-day activities. Customer stories, testimonials, those are gold for your business because it demonstrates that you were helping someone overcome a struggle. And if you're showing that, there's a really good chance that somebody else has that same struggle. Offers and promotions, those are great too. What about inspirational quotes? We used to see those a lot on social, and I kind of think they're like filler these days, but some days it's kind of nice to have a couple of those filler posts that you can use to break up the flow, or maybe you need something that day. You have a couple in your back pocket. Let's see. Everybody will be getting a copy of the presentation and the slides. Yes. Let's see. Can I give a content example? Content pillar doesn't make sense. Yes, I will be showing very specific examples. And if you want to tell me what your business is, I can show you exactly how I would help come up with your content pillars for your type of industry. So let me know in chat. So to that question, you got your pillars and you got your themes. Pillars are what you always talk about. These are your big categories. These are your core categories or topics that you always talk about for your business, right? Then you've got themes. So this is how you talk about it that week. So it's a specific angle or campaign. This is the focus for that month. So pillars. For my business, which is video production, content creation, pillars for me would be video tips and strategy, maybe AI and DIY content creation, and then behind the scenes. So those would be 3 pillars that I always talk about that relate to my business, and I can always give helpful tips about those things. So those would be pillars. Now for themes, I could still fit these themes into one of those pillars that I always have. Get confident on camera. That's not a pillar because I have, a lot I can talk about on that, but that's not my pillar. So my pillar would be video tips and strategy. A theme for that would be get confident on camera. AI avatars, yay or no way. So that's talking about one section of AI, so that would be a theme. My pillar would be AI and DIY content creation. And then for behind the scenes, what's in my video shoot bag? That would be showing you something behind the scenes. All right, so let's see. I see a couple more questions. When do you know where to separate the personal brand versus my company brand, especially if they go hand in hand? That's a great question, and I do get asked that a lot. And I think I'm kind of an example of that. So I have my personal brand, what people see of me, because I do webinars. So I am the face of my brand. My brand, my company is Harmony 3 Productions, but I am the front person for that. So my posts that I create on my personal, say LinkedIn, and LinkedIn, you start with your personal and you can have a business account, always reflects my business brand because I am so intertwined with that. When in your comment, you say your personal and your company brand go hand in hand. It would depend on whether you have personal things that you share that are not aligned with your company, and you need to know that people will see that. If you are the face of your company, everything that you show out there is going to reflect on your company. Okay. All right. Now, how to brainstorm a month of topics. So I use ChatGPT for that to kickstart my idea. So I would type into ChatGPT your prompt, right? Give me 12 social media post ideas for whatever the industry is using these content pillars. And then you would list the pillars. So for example, give me 12 social media post ideas, and you could put in your type of business for a fitness coach using these content pillars: workout tips, nutrition advice, client transformations, mindset motivations. Then you are going to review and refine the suggestions that ChatGPT gives you. Never take anything that AI gives you word for word without you putting your own experience and expertise on it. You can aim for 12 to 15 ideas, and that'll cover a whole month. If you're brand new and just starting out, aim for like 4 to 6 of them. Make it easy on yourself till you can understand the flow of this and if it's valuable to you. Okay, so I saw a So somebody's saying, what are my behind the scenes, for example? So the example that I showed you was what would be in my kit, my video kit that I take on location. That would be an idea of behind the scenes. Harmony 3 is really three of us. Behind the scenes could be us at a shoot, or it can be me at my desk creating an AI avatar. All of those are showing the process. That's what I mean by behind the scenes. Okay. All right. So I see an example here, a private chauffeur. So I'm going to show some examples. So keep posting in chat types of industries that you're in. But private chauffeur, the steps that I'm going to show for this, no matter what your business is, you can do. So I'm going to go into ChatGPT and I would say for a private, and I'm going so general, you can give it more information about your business, but I never put anything proprietary or confidential into something like ChatGPT. So for a business that is a private chauffeur, give me three content pillars. Remember, I was saying start with 3 to 5. We're just doing an example here. So I said, private chauffeur business that keep the brand premium, trustworthy, relevant. I asked for 3 content pillars: luxury, experience, and comfort; professionalism, safety, and reliability; lifestyle, travel, local expertise. Those are great content pillars, right? It may not be exactly you, but this is a great place to start. And this is how I use ChatGPT. I didn't even have to ask it for types of ideas, themes. It gave me those. So it may give you those, might not. You might have to fine tune. But look at this, content ideas for luxury. It's giving me content ideas related to the content pillar. Interior vehicle features, leather seats, refreshments, quiet ride. That goes to the content pillar of luxury. Chauffeur training and background standards. That goes to the content pillar of professionalism. What about best routes to avoid traffic for events or airports? That goes to the content pillar of local expertise. That will work for any type of industry you have. All right, so I always tell it it's great because I can't help myself. I'm polite to it. Thanks. Now a similar set for a business that does caricatures at corporate events. So let's see what it comes up with. These are wildly different. That's what I want to show you is no matter what your business is, you can use these steps. Content pillars: engagement and entertainment value, brand activation and customization, and professionalism and event expertise. So for a content idea, live event moments, lines at the booth, laughter, reaction, that goes to the content pillar of entertainment value. What about branded paper with company logos? That goes to positioning your caricatures as a marketing tool, brand activation, customization. For setup requirements, how simple it is, that goes to the content pillar of professionalism and event expertise. Those are 2 wildly different examples, and it shows that no matter what your business is, you could follow this step to come up with content pillars and start to get some ideas for themes. If you put in your information and it's not giving you what you want, refine the information that you're putting it in there. Andrea is saying, how do you save this information? Can it be downloaded? Yes, you in your ChatGPT, you can always copy and paste, and you can ask it to give it to you as a PDF, and then you can download that PDF. Yes, so absolutely think that ChatGPT works really well and makes it easy to organize into folders. And you can ask it to refine what it gave you as a Word doc or a PDF, and you can just download that. Yes. Okay. Now, an example that I had showed you before, get confident on camera. So that would go under the pillar, video tips and strategy. So before you hit record, 3 tips to calm your nerves before filming yourself. So that would be 1. My first video was awkward. Share a story or a clip from when you started. Number 3, what to say on camera when you don't know what to say. ChatGPT has a prompt tip and a mini script idea. So it's giving me the content under the pillars, right? So the themes for week 1, week 2, week 3 go under the pillars that we had established. So let me show you me taking these prompts, how I turned them into actual posts. All right. So the first one, remember, it said a carousel post for before you hit record, 3 tips to calm your nerves before filming yourself. So I said, give me the text for that, right? Because I'm using it to help me. So I'm like, give me the text. Slide 1, before you hit record, feeling nervous on camera, you're not alone. I've got 3 quick tips to help. So you can see the very first slide on the top there. I have created that in Canva. So it's branded to my colors, my fonts, has my logo on it. That's what I mean by brand consistency. But I took the content from ChatGPT. Before you hit record, feeling nervous on camera, you're not alone. Then it gave me the other images because I told it I wanted a carousel post, which is a multi-image post. Every single page is branded to match my company colors, has my logo on it, and has my content that I am sharing, my valuable tip. Okay. All right. Now, I like to organize on a calendar so I can see what type of content I'm creating. So I'm not doing all, behind the scenes. I'm not doing all tips. I'm breaking it up a little bit. So you can visually map out what you're doing using a spreadsheet, or you can color code or just arrange your topic strategically by the week, and you can have ChatGPT help you with this too. But also consider and remind ChatGPT of any seasonal events that are coming up, or holidays, or business promotions, and plan for a mix of formats. And again, if you're utilizing ChatGPT to help you with content, tell it that. Tell it, I want some static posts and some carousels and some videos. You can let it come up with the mix, or you can be specific. Say, this month I want 2 videos and 3 static posts, and make the rest carousels, or whatever you want. It will work with you. I use ChatGPT as my little sidekick to help brainstorm with. All right. All right. So I draft my captions. So the caption, you've got your image or your video or your carousel post. There will be some text on those, but your caption, your description for your post is generally bigger. And ChatGPT very easily can format that for you. It can transform your topic idea into complete posts in minutes. Now, I said, write Instagram captions with hashtags for these ideas, and then paste your list. Pro tip on that would be to include very specific instructions about the tone you want it written in. How long? Is there a character count? Like on X, there's definitely a character count. So you have to be aware of that. Or if you're not aware, you ask ChatGPT and it can find that information for you. Request a mix of emojis and formatting for, visual appeal. I do like to break it up with emojis. I like to break it up with line breaks, so it's not just one block of text. Ask for relevant hashtags. Caveat here, if you're using hashtags. I still use very, very few. These days, hashtags are less important, and I am moving away from using them and now using keywords and key phrases as opposed to hashtags. Keywords and key phrases are things that your audience would actually type in when they're searching for something, because the way that the algorithms are looking for content and showing content is related to what people are searching for. So if you can think about how someone would ask or type in something that you do, your service, those would be relevant keywords and key phrases to include in your content. So somebody's saying, what's the difference between a hashtag and a link? A link is a clickable URL typically that will go somewhere else. So for example, if I said, connect with me on LinkedIn, and I wanted to make it easy for you, I would put in the link, which is what is in the browser, top browser bar of my LinkedIn page. So it would have that link. A hashtag is, for example, it could say hashtag score mentor. And posts that have that hashtag, if you're searching, would show up. But people these days are not really searching by hashtags. So that's why I think hashtags are slowly moving out. If you're not using hashtags now, I would just focus on keywords and key phrases. For myself, I'm not using hashtags right now. And again, things can always change. And for my clients, if they're really like, oh, I still want to use hashtags, I will use at the most 3 of them. But putting a link in your post, if they click on that link, it's going to take them where you want them to go, right? So for example, we had a big SCORE event a couple of weeks ago. And when I was doing posts promoting that event, I would put in register here and put the link to the registration page. So from that post, they could click on the link, go to the registration page. So a link is going to take them somewhere, and a hashtag is what people in the past had been using hashtags to search for. But again, I would really focus on keywords and key phrases. Do you just add keywords as part of the caption text? Yes. Keywords and phrases, and I would have ChatGPT kind of help you decide what those keywords and key phrases could be related to that post. So you don't want to be just keyword stuffing, like put them at the end. You want to use it in natural language, like you're speaking those phrases, that it's incorporated into your sentences so that it has a natural flow to it. Okay. All right. So if you look back over here on the left, this is that carousel post that I showed you how I made it, right? And used ChatGPT and Canva to create this as a carousel post. The next thing that it suggested for me to do was a video about my first video being awkward, because that's relatable. That's kind of behind the scenes saying, hey, I messed up too on my first one. So it gave me a script that I recorded, right? And as I'm filming myself, and I turned that into a video. So let me play that for you here. So my first video, a total disaster. I had the radio blasting in the background, my dog was barking at absolutely nothing, and I was just sitting there trying to remember my own name. But guess what? I posted it anyway, because done is better than perfect, and honestly, the dog kind of stole the show. So I used the script from ChatGPT, I took it into Canva, again, branded it so it reflects my brand. So that's why I'm saying using ChatGPT and Canva makes it easy to keep everything cohesive and consistent. Then remember, it gave me another post idea, what to say on camera when you don't know what to say. So this is another tip, right? Helpful information. But I wanted that also to be a video, but I didn't want to be on camera for that. So I used that script and I had an AI avatar say those words, right? So let me show you what that one looks like.
Not sure what to say on camera? Start with this simple line. Hey, I get a lot of questions about whatever your topic is, so here's one quick tip that helps. That's it. You don't need a script. You just need to be helpful. One question, one answer, one person in mind. The best videos start with just showing up. I'm an AI avatar helper for Ronnie at Harmony 3 Productions, here to make content much easier.
So using ChatGPT to help write that script, and then using an AI avatar, and there's many programs that have them out there. Then I had the video, I take that into Canva and make a polished video that has, the content on top of it. You always, anytime anybody is talking, you do want to have closed captions enabled or burn them into your video itself to make everything that you're doing accessible. But that's how I'm utilizing all of them and different visuals. So we have the carousel post, and then I had two videos, but you could mix that up with other static images. Okay, so I see another couple of questions here. Do I need to put links in the comments? I heard the algorithm doesn't like external link. So that's from Blake. Great question. We don't really know for sure, but I tend to put the links in the first comment, not in the description. And that's relatively new, and I am kind of experimenting with it. But if you are concerned at all that you might not be getting your post shared as much if you put links in the description, and some platforms you hear more, and again, nobody knows what the algorithm is doing, but that is something that we've been hearing. So I put my links in the first comment, and that is not a bad idea anyway. If you make a post, wait about 10 minutes, don't do it immediately, and then you be the first comment. And that first comment is going to be, especially because it's coming from you, just a little expansion on what you're saying. So you're actually giving another little nugget of something, and then put your link in with that comment. All right, let's see. Is there an app I could share for reading the script? Yes. There's a lot of teleprompter apps. And that on that example that I showed you where I'm actually talking, looking right into my phone as the camera, yes, I'm using a teleprompter app. You read it and it has the text going about where the camera is on the phone, so it looks like you're not reading it. So yes, I use those all the time. They work really, really well. Someone's saying if you don't want to use something like ChatGPT, what do I suggest? You can write your own. Absolutely. You just do your own content writing, and then you can use it in Canva to make those posts themselves. Let's see. Sometimes you don't have time to remember the script. Absolutely. How do you look natural and not have your eyeballs rolling across the screen, look like you're reading? So if you looked at that one that I did, my eyes are not going back and forth looking like I'm reading, because I'm using the teleprompter app on my phone, and the way that they come up right about where the camera is, and it looks great. I have had really, really good luck with that. Someone is saying, where is that layout on Canva? You're probably talking about the layout that I showed you for the carousel post. You can actually look for carousel posts in Canva. So let me show you real quick here. Let's see if I can get to it real quick here. In the search bar, you can always type carousel post. And then different templates will come up. So all of these are carousel post templates, and you can totally customize any one of them. So that, again, it reflects your brand and kind of what you're talking about. So Canva makes it very, very easy to customize, but I start by picking a template that I like for whatever reason. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. So I think that answered those questions. Yeah, I had a couple people asking about how do you read the script and using a teleprompter. So yeah, so the app that I use is Teleprompter Pro, and it's for my phone. Okay, batching those visuals. So in Canva, just like I showed you for those carousel posts, you can pick like 10 to 15 templates that you like for no other reason is that you like them for something. And typically I will just line them up. You know, I'll do a bunch for videos, I'll do a bunch for say carousels or for static posts that I like. And I will name that, you know, templates for videos or templates for social media posts, whatever you want to call it. Then I customize those in that batch of 10 to 15 that I like. So they've all got my branding on them. And then I save that as a big template, right? I save that in Canva. Then every month I can go in and I copy that folder and then I can change it for that month. So I've made my template. You know, here we just had January, so I would copy it for January, make the January post. So they blend with those templates. All you have to do is change the text or the images, but those templates are already branded for you. You can apply your fonts and your colors right there in Canva itself. It makes it really easy for you to stay on brand. And you just plug in the images or the post topics that you're working with, and such a time saver. Okay. Does carousel mean they're released on different days? No. A carousel, good question, because a lot of people ask, like, what's a carousel post? I'm sure you've seen some of them on your social feeds. It is a multi-image post. And typically you'll see it with a, if I go back here to, so say that you liked this one here, and it says why you should post carousel posts. If there's a post that you like, a template, you just click on it and it'll say, customize this template. You're going to go, sure. So again, this is a carousel post. So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pages to this one post. You can also see that when you are moving from post to post, like here's a good example. This has an arrow and that's the end of the arrow. So they have a continuity to the images. People will swipe those images to see the next one. And whatever platform you're on, it makes it pretty clear that it's a carousel post. The reason they are getting a lot of attention and a lot of engagement these days is people like to swipe and see what's on the next page. So I do use carousel posts, not on every post, but a couple per month, and they definitely get a lot of engagement. You can see on this one, it has this little pink line that's picked up on the next post image that you're sliding across. So it's one post with multiple pages. Somebody's saying, why do I use teleprompter on my phone instead of on my laptop or computer? My phone has a much better camera than a laptop or iPad or computer. So your phone typically is going to have the best camera for you to record those on. Okay. All right. So carousel posts primarily for Instagram? No, they're good for every platform. I use them on LinkedIn. I use them on Instagram, Facebook, because as part of the saving time, I put my post on all of those platforms, but they work really well. They work really, really well right now on LinkedIn. But yes, whatever post I'm putting up, I put it on all the platforms that I'm on, and I'm on all the platforms my audience is on. So a lot of people will say, what platform should I be on? You need to know your audience, where they are, and that's where you should be. Okay, let's see here. All righty. All right. So here's another pro tip. Export your graphics all in one batch rather than individually. It just makes it easier for you to have them, and then you can have them, it'll typically download them for you as a zip file, makes it much easier for you to work with. Duplicate and modify. This is exactly what I was talking about. You can create variations quickly by duplicating those templates and making small changes. I duplicate the templates every month, so it has that brand consistency, but the content changes. It saves hours of work. In Canva, you have what's called a brand kit. This is where your logo, your colors, your fonts are going to be. It helps you look like you, no matter what you're creating, whether it's a flyer or a social media post or a banner. It makes it look, again, like you, which is what I've said from the beginning, how important I feel that brand consistency is for you. And again, their templates are designed by pros, so you look really good when you use them. Don't forget video. Video drives the highest amount of engagement really across any of the platforms right now. I use ChatGPT to write short, engaging scripts, 15-second scripts to 30-second scripts to 60-second scripts. You know, back in the day, 60 seconds was a short video. Now it's considered a long video. You can leverage Canva's video editor in there. It's very user friendly, and their templates are really great. And like I said, what I love about it is that it's a very user friendly platform. Then you can export your videos into different formats. For regular YouTube videos or one you might be having on your website, you want to export it horizontal, right? That's the format that looks best there. But for social, it's tall vertical. In Canva, you can resize whatever you're working on. Yes, you might have to make a few little tweaks, but it's doing the heavy lifting for you. You can batch multiple videos when you're downloading that also into one session while you're camera ready. And this I absolutely use. If I'm going to take the time to decide what I'm wearing, do my hair, put a little makeup on, I'm going to do multiple videos because I'm already set up. The light's set up. Now's the time to do it. So if you are going to commit to time to do a video, think about doing at least 3 of them. Okay. All right. So here's the batching workflow recap. You're going to plan your themes. So you're going to establish your content pillars, and you're going to map out your topic ideas for the entire month based on that strategy. Then I use ChatGPT for ideas. I generate more concepts that I could use. Different concepts, captions, scripts. I use AI consistently. That is my little go-to. It really helps to jumpstart my creativity. I don't use it to replace me. I use it to help make me better. Then we write all the captions, define and refine your post text. Again, whatever AI is giving you, I put my own experience and expertise on it, and I highly recommend you do the same. You want it to sound like you, not like a robot, right? You're the human. And then you design the actual visuals, whatever it is that you're going to be posting, a video, a carousel, or a standard post in Canva. Makes it so easy. And then you can schedule your content and upload it. You're done for the month. All right. So here's some realistic time blocks. And okay, this might be a little optimistic, but it's a place to have you think about, okay, how could I do this in a day? And really, I'm talking about like 6 hours focus work. 1 hour for brainstorming and prompts, right? So this is creating your content strategy. Again, I work with ChatGPT for this to identify your themes and to generate ideas. Then maybe 2 hours to draft all the captions and scripts and text content, again, working closely with AI and your personal expertise on it. And then 2 hours to work in Canva and design and create those templates and produce all the visual assets for your entire month of work. And then schedule. Maybe it's just an hour. You can upload your content to your scheduling platform. You can use the platform scheduler in Canva, or you can decide, hey, I'm just going to upload them as I need them. So that's 6 hours of focused work and creates that whole month of content. All right. I do like to batch by format. And what I mean by that, if I'm going to be doing video reels, I do all the reels at once. And then maybe I do all the quote posts, and maybe then I do all the carousels. The reason that I do them in batching by format, if I'm in the mindset of working on a carousel post, you saw what it's like. It's multi-image, right? So I have to understand that I'm telling that story, this scene, this scene, this scene, this scene. When I do one, the next one's easier. The next one's easier. Same thing with the video. If I am doing one video and then I do a carousel post, I've got to switch back and forth. And for me, that's harder to do. I would rather do, if I know I'm doing 3 videos that month, do those 3 videos, then work on my quotes or then work on my carousels. Somebody's saying, yes, that was optimistic timeline. And absolutely it could be. But one way to make that a lot less optimistic and more doable is to do less, especially on your first one. So let's go back to that timeline. Maybe you're not going to work for 6 hours straight on that. Maybe you're not going to do 12 to 15 posts. Like I said, start with 1 a week. That's only 4 posts for the whole month, but at least to get started, that's much easier. But you can still take every one of these best practices that we were talking about. If you do 4 posts that month, 1 a week, and you're consistent, you still get a gold star. Being consistent is absolutely so important. Your viewers will appreciate that, and the algorithm appreciates that. So if you're going to commit to once a week, commit to once a week, gold star. If you can work up to 3 times a week, even better. Even better, go every day. But don't feel like you have to create a post a day when you're first getting started. Try it for the first month. Understand the thought process, the method behind this madness, and I think it will become easier for you. Okay. The other thing I do like to do is batch by platform. Now, something that I do that makes it easier is I kind of make them all fit whatever platform. The only changes would be if I have something that I know is going to go on TikTok and I know it's also same content going to go on LinkedIn, I vary it up a little bit. LinkedIn is much more professional, business-oriented platform than TikTok. If you have your audience on both, then yes, same message, same value that you're giving, but phrase it a little differently. And again, you can work with AI to help you with that. Someone is saying, can I show how to utilize Canva for generating AI images and post templates? Sure. So let's go back here into Canva. All right. So when you start in your Canva account, right, it always says, what do you want to design today? Canva does have an AI image generator. So if you are looking on the left, says Canva AI. You can click on that and it'll say, what do you want to design? And you can say, I'm looking for images. So it gives you ideas for coding, design, image, but you specifically asked about image. So I would click on image and you tell it what you want and it does pretty darn good, right? And look, it's giving some examples right here. It says, create an image of a character for a fantasy novel set in a snowy landscape. That's pretty good, right? So if I wanted an image, so let's just say, so I'm looking for an image and I'm going to put in image in photorealistic style. You can give it some ideas what you want. A business mentor and mentee. See, I'm always bragging about how great score is. So image in a photo style of a business mentor and mentee. I'm going to say modern office and sunlight shining through window. Let's see what it comes up with. And it does it, so the format that it's giving me by default, 16 by 9, I'm going to say that I want it in the vertical format, so 9 by 16. And for style, it's giving me none, smart, cinematic, concept, creative. Let's just say cinematic content. I don't know what it's going to give us, but let's try. And then you just click go, and let's see what it comes up with. Perfect. Pretty much what I asked for. Modern office, sunlight coming through. I said mentor and mentee. I'm going to pick this one. If I just click edit, now it is in the editor for Canva. So at this point, I can add text. I can do anything I want with this image to put it in a usable post, right? So if I go over to uploads, since I started working with it, it is going to show in my uploads. So there it is. Now, nice image, but I want a template. And Elizabeth was asking for how do we find those templates? So I would go over here to design, and I'm going to put, we're going to just put event. So it's got movie night, let's cycle, how to grow your business. I like that. So I am going to click on this template, right? And I'm going to put that image that we just generated in this template. So if I go back over here to uploads, remember it showed up here. So I'm going to swap it out for where this gal is. So I'm going to lose her, right? And I just want it to go in that same place where we had this. And you just make a few little additions and it fits right in there. Perfect. And then the text, how to grow your, I would want to change that so it was a lighter text. Perfect. And then your brand colors, you can easily change also. Now see how grow isn't working here? So you might have to work with that a little bit. You could look at effects and see if putting a little shadow underneath it, that shows much, much better. Now, if this really was for SCORE, orange is not one of their colors. I could click on where that circle is for background color. The SCORE colors are already uploaded here in a brand kit. So I would put the blue background, right? Nice. And then this pink, there we go, I'm on that pink, is not one of their colors, but yellow is, so I could change it to that. Now, see how quickly, because I had the brand kit already built in Canva, that's pretty much customized. Now, remember I said you can save these templates for next month. Maybe you want to change the text, right? So I would copy this design, but for this example, I'm just going to copy this page. And I know that I can swap out this image. And if we look for elements, I'm just going to put business person. And we're just going to take her for right now. And I can drop her right into there. And she is quite a bit more horizontal than ours. So what I would do, let's delete her. Let's find a frame element. Let's see here. I can take a basic shape that's what they call a frame. So I'm just going to make it the same size as what we had. And now I can drop an image into that. So if I go back to my picture of her, now I can drop it into that frame. Boom. And all I have to do is change the text now, and that branded template I can use for the next month. All right. Do I have recommendations on where to begin in learning and creativity, creating an AI avatar? I actually do a SCORE webinar on that topic. You can always look on the SCORE website, and you can search for AI avatar. You can look under my name. It'll show the next time I'm presenting. That would be a good place to start. You can also try some of the platforms themselves, and most of them have small tutorials on it, but just one of my favorite things right now. It's amazing, and to have them be you talking about your business. Okay, so we've got one more minute here. Can you show us how to apply your brand to the template? Yes. Okay, so here they have this text here. I'm going to get rid of that. You would go to your brand kit, right? And then I have the SCORE logo already up in there. But when I put it here, it's blue against blue. That's not going to work. So if I click on the logo color itself, you can see that it's almost there. I can go to edit. I can adjust. There's so many things that you can do in, there we go, in Canva. And it's actually remarkable, very, very user friendly. So look, now it's white. Perfect. I got the logo in there in seconds. It is 11 o'clock. This time flew by. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I really would love to connect with you on LinkedIn, and I hope to see you at another SCORE webinar very, very soon. Try some of these things. It is just so much out there that is available for us to make things easier. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you again so much for joining me.
Thank you, Ronnie. Great webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you.